Bucs move to 3-1. Eagles fall to 2-2. Bucs took it to them early. There was a bunch of the 1 o'clock games, Sam, that were 21-0, 28-0. Bucs got up to a 21-0 lead almost immediately by like the early second quarter.
Yeah.
Then they were up 24-0. Could have been 28. It was a drop touchdown in the end zone. Eagles did what they could to come back, including a blocked extra point turned into a 2-point conversion. Could have been a massive swing in this game. It would have been a 17-point game if they hit it. Ends up becoming just a 14-point game. So Eagles, within 2 scores. But Jalen Hurts gets strip sack, kind of, thwarts any comeback attempt there by the Eagles. But yeah, the Bucs get the win, moving to 3-1, first place in the NFC South.
Yeah, effectively a 3-point swing on that play. Like going up 31-14 became going up 30-16.
Right.
Based off
and the Eagles
blocked return.
Got the ball, drove down a little bit, and then Hurts gets strip sacked. I think it was Lavonte David with the strip sack. It may have been a touchdown opportunity there. Hurts was trying to get the ball down the field. Huge play for the Bucs. But yeah, their offense was cooking early on against Fangio's defense.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons was Baker was back slinging it. Like, he made some absolutely perfect passes. His pass to Trey Palmer for a touchdown, perfect. He couldn't have walked it over there and placed it in his hands any more accurately.
That was a beauty.
That question, remember we talked about this before, what Baker in college is one of the most accurate quarterbacks we've ever seen, not just completion rate, but ball location, where you actually place the football on your pass attempts. That was a perfect Baker Mayfield pass for a touchdown. Their offense was absolutely cooking, but the Eagles did claw their way back into this. It looked like it was done early in the game, and then Philadelphia started to find their way back into it. They went for it on 4th and goal before halftime. They were down 24-0. They needed that play. They got it, and then right at the start of the second half, Saquon Barkley has a really big run. It's like the Eagles are not done and dusted in this. They're not buried. And then Tampa Bay just put the foot back on the gas. They were like, nope, not happening. The defense made a couple plays. Lavonte David got a really nice strip sack in there. And they just absolutely refused to let Philadelphia back into this game.
I want to circle back to Baker in a minute here.
Another muff punt, by the way, in your week of muff punts.
Oh yeah, muff punt. Yeah, that was why the Bucs were down. I mean, part of the reason why they were up so much, right? The Eagles handed them the ball again. Eagles just couldn't get out of their own way. Like when Jalen Hurts finally made a nice throw to Dallas Goedert in the first quarter on I think it was a little corner route, he drops it. So the Bucs they just piled on as far as their offense goes. From an Eagles perspective, context is important here. There's no A.J. Brown, there's no Devontae Smith, right? That's your starting point. Saquon Barkley has been an absolute difference maker, though. He has been. This was a very Saquon game where there's a whole bunch of runs to nothing, but then a 59-yarder. And when you can – it's been the last few weeks, right? I mean, week 1, there was 2 long runs against Green Bay. Last week, the 65-yarder, I think it was, to set things up for the Saints, against the Saints. That was what brought the Eagles back to within 10, right? They needed some big plays, and it was a 59-yarder from Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts to perform with a bunch of backup wideouts in Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley. So you need Barkley to be able to make those plays. He's been a difference maker because if you're creating 50-plus yard plays once a week, that is huge for this offense. Jalen Hurts isn't playing well overall. I just don't know how much, not having the fail-safe, not having A.J. Brown, right? Not having him. We saw it in week 1. They were kind of trudging along, boom, 65-yarder to A.J. Brown. You don't have that. You don't have the security blanket of Devontae Smith in this game where he's been so good working the middle of the field, working out of the slot. That's tough. But Jalen Hurts, with 3 more turnover-worthy plays in this game, including the strip sack where he's just resetting in the pocket and knows he's got to kind of rush, and Lavonte David strips him. There's got to be some urgency there. It's 4 straight games with multiple turnover-worthy plays from Jalen Hurts. That's how he started his career. Remember early in his career, the offense looked better, and we were like, but he's got a lot of turnover-worthy plays. And he settled down out of that for a while, but putting a lot of pressure on himself, not having those top playmakers, but Hurts has to play better for this Eagles team.
Yeah, he does. For a while, though, it was kind of impressive how they were able to get any offense going. Basically, you look at what they've got left. It's like they have Dallas Goedert and they have Saquon Barkley, the end, right?
I know. I want to make sure the context is there. Like, I understand it's a difficult situation.
And it's like they somehow are able to make this work just feeding those two guys. Like, they only have two players left, and the offense is working just by feeding those two guys. It's actually quite impressive. And, you know, part of this is kind of their own design, right? Like, one of the things people flagged heading into the season is, okay, they've got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Those guys are really good. What happens if one of them gets hurt? They get thin quickly, and both of them got hurt. So in this world of, hey, Howie Roseman can do no wrong, like, how does he do it again? Look at this perfect roster. That was kind of a design that this is a very thin wide receiver room, and both of their top two guys are hurt. So to an extent, this was a risk that they assumed voluntarily. But, yeah, Jalen Hurts, minimum, whether or not you can say this is a product of losing your top two wide receivers or not, at the very minimum, you can say his reaction to throwing to guys that he's not used to throwing to is a dramatic increase in his own volume of mistakes.
Yeah.
That itself is problematic, whether or not it's the cause or it's just incidental. Like, Hurts is making way more mistakes than he can for this offense to function.
I get that they go hand in hand, but, you know, some of them are just bad red zone decisions too. I'm talking about the totality of the season here.
Yeah,
that have nothing to do with who you're throwing to.
Right, and there are quarterbacks that can lose receivers and still like not explode with a volume of turnover-worthy plays. Like, it doesn't. They are connected, but it's not like an automatic reaction to losing your best receivers. Is, well, I'm just going to turn into a turnover machine now. Then.
I just want to touch on this Baker Mayfield game again. He finishes 30 for 47. There's 5 drops in there as well. It was the lowest average time to throw of his entire career, 2.17. And then even if you take away a couple negated plays, it's 2.08. That is, for almost 50 dropbacks, a crazy fast number.
Right.
And that's not all screens. That is back foot hits. You are getting rid of the ball. The Bucs clearly had a game plan that looked like last year, which was the Eagles' defense is struggling in space. They're not tackling well, and that's exactly what it felt like. I was so wrong about this one, Sam. When you questioned me about, you saw one good game from the Eagles' defense and you think they're back, and I said, yeah, they're back. They're not back. This looked like last year's Eagles' defense. Middle of the field is open. They're not tackling well. The angles are horrible, but the Bucs deserve a ton of credit, man. They do have this receiving core where Chris Godwin was making a ton of plays. He had 4 first downs. Mike Evans had 6 first downs, had a couple drops in there too. So again, it could have been even better. Baker had a big time throw that he ended up dropping. Cade Otton was making plays over the middle of the field. Sterling Shepard comes in, a former Oklahoma teammate of Baker Mayfield, right? Were they teammates? Did they cross over for a little? I think they were. Sterling Shepard making plays, but yeah, the Bucs offense just getting the ball in space, making the Eagles defense look really bad in this one.
Yeah, and to be clear, so people have sort of questioned where was the Eagles pass rush. When your average time to throw is 2 seconds,
it's impossible.
They're never going to get pressure.
You can't do it.
Now, I will say that if you look at just the plays where the time to throw was 2.6 seconds or longer, they still didn't get a ton of pressure. So there was a very few plays or occasions where he did hold the ball longer than that, and they didn't make a huge impact. But when the guy is dropping back that much and the average time to throw is basically a hair over 2 seconds, the pass rush is not going to have any impact, almost regardless of who it is. 2 seconds is simply not enough time to get a consistent source of pressure from anybody. It could be, the 4 horsemen. They're not going to get that kind of pressure. The fearsome foursome, the purple people eaters, not happening. So, the people that are like, where was Jalen Carter this week? No, it's not going to, he never had a shot.
A lot of debate around Tampa Bay about getting Bucky Irving some more carries and maybe stealing from Rachaad White. Doesn't get more balanced than this, Sam. Both Rachaad White and Bucky Irving finished with 10 carries for 49 yards. Bucky did find the end zone right before that blocked extra point, but kind of get that two-headed monster going of running backs. Both guys looking pretty good in this one, but Bucky, man, he brings some shiftiness to this offense. When you have all those receivers and you get the 2 running backs out of the backfield, they are tough to cover. And it was a huge bounce back for the Bucs after they looked pretty bad last week against the Broncos at home.
Yeah, huge game for them. They looked very impressive. We also got a few monstrous Vita Vea plays in here again.
I was thinking of you watching those.
And yet again.
And then you go back and see the grades. Like, why is it not a 95?
Exactly. Again, the totality of it. I tweeted, Vita Vea's highlight reel is the best player in the NFL. It really is. His high-end plays are utterly unrivaled, and yet it doesn't sustain for 40 snaps in a game. It's unbelievable.
Anything else on this game?
Credit, we mentioned him before, the strip sack, but Lavonte David was insane in this game. Again, like his ability to sustain elite all-pro level play at his age is remarkable.
It is unbelievable.